Today we're going to take a look at the Razor HD Gen 3 6-36 by 56 with the new VMR-5 reticle. The VMR-5 reticle is a simple reticle. It really cleans up our field of view and allows us to see more information downrange. So I'm going to go ahead and put this reticle to work. We have two position, two target shoot. So from this position I'm going to shoot two different targets downrange. I'll move down there to that flat portion and shoot those same two different targets at those ranges. So I'll go ahead and load up and we'll talk through some of the benefits as I go. So I'll go ahead and get set up in my position, get my dope dialed here for this target, find my target in my field of view, get my parallax adjusted, and I'll go ahead and send the first shot after I make my wind call. So the advantage of this reticle, I got a nice clear field of view. I don't have a lot of information going on in there. I can look at the lower portion of my optic. I can see the grass, I can see brush, I can see indicators of what the wind is doing, and I can make an appropriate wind call. So it allows me to be a little bit more efficient in that way. So I seen I got my impact there. Even with recoil management, our reticle tends to go up a lot of the times, putting that target in that lower field of view as we're shooting. And if I did happen to get a miss, again, I don't have all that information there. I got a nice clear field of view. I can spot my miss and I can make a correction if I need to. So I'll transition over to this next target. I'll get my data dialed for this next target. And again, if I made a miss there, I'd easily be able to correct it based off that clear field of view and the information that I'm seeing downrange. So I'll go ahead and transition down to this lower portion, going back to that first target that I engaged previously. So one thing I do like about this reticle is with the mil style reticle, at every half mil is a floating dot, so there's a little space in there. It allows me to see greater target definition, and I can kind of pick out those fine edges of the target and see really well where the target's at. Sometimes if there's a lot of information in there, I have really thick stadia lines, it makes it a little bit more difficult to see that, especially if we're shooting smaller targets, something like in a PRS match. But with those floating dots in there, I see a little bit more downrange and I can see my target a little bit more efficiently. So I'll shoot this last target here. All right, on that last target, I used a hold. I didn't dial my elevation. I just held the amount of mils I needed to based off of the information I dialed last and my dope for the 400-yard mark. So that same stage I just run, I'm going to go ahead and run it at full speed so you can see what things could look like with something like this reticle here. All right, so ran it the same way I did the first time, just held on that last shot right there just to save a little bit of time. In reality, I could use a hold for all my shots if I was a confident enough shooter. If you feel like you would value a clear field of view, something like this VMR style reticle would offer, check them out. Really nice to have that full field of view, less information there, less clutter, can see more downrange for wind calls, spotting missed shots, and just being able to get on target a little bit quicker. So since I've been shooting the VMR-5 reticle, it's my preferred reticle with the PRS competitive style shooting application. I really like it. I appreciate those features that I named off earlier. If you think you will as well, check it out. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out.